Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the 99 Names. I am your host, Bilal Khan, and I have here with us
Ammar AlShukry. Assalamu alaikum. How are y'all doing?
Everybody's fantastic because they're watching this from the comfort of their home or their phone
or their car,
or they're in a waiting room waiting at the doctor's office to get needles stuck inside them.
Shafakumullah wa afakum. May Allah heal you a healing that leaves behind no ailment.
Ameen. Except if you're at the doctor's place, you're probably not necessarily sick. You probably just...
Then congratulations on your pregnancy. Okay, so...
What name are you doing today?
We are doing Ilah.
Ilah. Okay, so... we were just discussing this before, and I'm like, you mean Allah?
So, Ilah means the... What is an Ilah? An Ilah is anything that is worshipped.
An object of worship.
An object of worship.
Okay.
So, it's translated as deity.
Yes.
Anything that is deified is an Ilah. It's as simple as that.
Right, but there's only one worthy and deserving of being deified.
Very good. So, when you actually translate the kalima literally...
Yes.
It is, there is no deity that is worshipped other than Allah. But there is no deity other than Allah.
Okay.
Then the question becomes, but there's so many deities other than Allah.
Okay.
Right? There are so many objects of worship.
Yeah.
Or objects that are worshipped other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the answer to that becomes that the la in the kalima is a particular type of la that has a description that is required, and that description in the kalima is missing.
Wait, when you say la as in no?
Yes, that type of la in Arabic, la ilaha illallah, that la in Arabic grammar is called a nafiya lil jins. It has a particular
purpose.
Yes, and it requires a description, and that description from the kalima is actually missing because it is understood.
Okay.
And that description is that there is nothing that is worthy of worship except for Allah.
Okay.
La ilaha bihaqqin illallah. There's nothing that is worthy of worship. And that's why you'll find that the kalima is translated as there's nothing that is worthy of worship except for Allah.
But the question, I'm guessing because the Arabic already puts the la in the beginning, it is implied and understood.
Exactly.
However, when you translate it literally, that doesn't come off.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they have to put in between brackets, worthy of worship.
And it's actually because of this reason why when you read a translation of the Quran,
you find brackets.
You find brackets, and in fact, what you're really reading, if it's an appropriate translation, is really a translation of the interpretation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why we don't even call the translation of the Quran anymore.
Right.
Right, and so you'll find that some people will translate it as an interpretation of the meanings of the Quran.
Okay.
Because again, one of the problems is that whenever you translate the Quran, it no longer has its miraculous nature.
Sure.
And it becomes a surface level translation.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
You have to pick one or the other. You lose depth immediately.
Yes.
If I say Allahu Samad, I have to either translate it as the eternal refuge or the self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You'll never find a translation that has both. Even though as-samad carries those two connotations and more. So immediately you lose depth when it comes to translation.
So the question now is, the appropriate alternative to a translation would be tafsir?
Tafsir helps, for sure.
But
absolutely.
What do you call tafsir in English?
Exegesis.
What the hell does that mean?
Tafsir.
Exegesis?
Exegesis.
Like Sega Genesis?
I have my feet up on a Pegasus, kicking urban exegesis. Shaitan has been my nemesis back since the days of Genesis. You never heard that?
No. Is this one of yours?
I wrote it, yes. I wrote it back in the day. Oh, I didn't say feet up on a Pegasus. I said a buraq instead of a Pegasus, kicking urban exegesis. Shaitan has been my nemesis back since the days of Genesis, yes. But exactly, so exegesis basically means explanation of the Quran.
Okay.
You know, that's what tafsir is. You're explaining the Quran.
I almost feel like that word is like archaic English.
It's absolutely archaic.
Okay.
I mean, you've never heard exegesis in the street or anything like
Ever.
that. Yeah.
Not even in Shakespearean plays.
You'll find it in...
It's like, thou art
Anyway, to wrap this
Hither,
back up.
thither.
So when we talk about Al-Ilah is the one who is worshipped.
Okay.
Now, do you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling himself Al-Ilah in the Quran with the alif lam so that we're good to go, that it's a name? No. Do you find it with tanween in the Quran? Yes. It's similar to a Rabb in the sense that Allah never calls himself a Rabb, but He always calls himself the Lord of the heavens and the earth, Ilahin Nas, Rabbin Nas, right? Malikin Nas. You'll find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling himself Al-Ilah without the alif lam throughout the Quran, and that is enough to make some of the scholars comfortable that it is a name of Allah.
Okay.
Now, interestingly enough,
this is how it distinguishes itself away from Allah.
yes, one of the positions, however, is that Al-Ilah became merged together.
Sure.
Just like in English, do not becomes
It's a
don't.
contraction.
A contraction. And so Al-Ilah, when it became contracted, it became
Allah.
Allah. So that's a position.
So cannot, can't, do not, don't.
Yes.
Al-Ilah,
Will
Allah.
not, won't.
Yeah.
Al-Ilah became Allah. Because human nature is always to make things more fluid and easy.
Yeah.
We'll get to all of the different concepts or positions with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and where that name is derived from, if it is derived, because it's one position is that it's not derived from anything. It's just ismun jamid, as they say. It's a name that isn't extracted from anything. But for our purposes, Al-Ilah is the one who is worshipped, and there's much in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, talks about his right to be worshipped. So the great fruit of this name, of course, is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone.
Okay.
That's the takeaway from Al-Ilah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He is your Lord and He's your God, then He's the one who's worthy of your fear and your love and your hope and your submission and your worship.
Okay.
That He's the one you direct all of these, whether emotions that have to do with or actions of the heart, that you direct those to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if they are acts of worship, and that your physical worship be directed to Him as well.
Are there any names in which this particular form is paired up with or followed up?
No.
I mean, other than Malik, Ilahin Nas, Malikin Nas.
You're talking about a sequence?
Oh yeah, perhaps.
There's no, because it doesn't come in the name form in that way that we're used to. You don't find, for example, pairings.
Okay.
But as far as sequence that you're talking about,
besides Surah
An-Nas,
An-Nas, yeah.
you have Al-Fatih, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawm Al-Din, Iyaka Na'budu, Iyaka Nasta'een. So in another way it comes.
Okay.
Which is Iyaka Na'budu, Iyaka Nasta'een comes after those pairings. And Iyaka Na'budu, Iyaka Nasta'een indicates you alone do we worship, you alone do we seek for help. So it is talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's right to be worshipped. And interestingly enough, some of the scholars of tafsir have alluded to the notion that the Quran comes full circle in that way.
Okay.
That at the beginning it begins with Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, so the Rabb is being addressed.
Yeah.
Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawm Al-Din, Malik is being addressed here.
Yeah.
And Iyaka Na'budu is Ilah.
Okay.
And then Surah An-Nas
Is the
concludes with Alhamdulillah, Qul a'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, Malikin Nas, Ilahin Nas. The same sequence is
same
again
sequence,
mentioned.
okay.
The same sequence as well as the same attributes.
So it's basically bookending it.
Whatever that means, yeah. But just,
Okay.
full circle. It begins with these three attributes and it ends with those three attributes.
But then what about Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim?
That kind of breaks that
That
idea. Although, yeah, I mean, I would say that the Rahman would kind of breaks this theory. That's why it's not so unanimous.
It's not unanimous.
That's why you
right?
haven't heard about this idea yet.
This
is something that
is this from,
almost
is
works.
this from your own reflections or from people?
No, I read it.
Oh, you read it? Okay.
Yeah.
قل أعوذ برب الناس مالك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. There's no mention of mercy or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
Except in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, but
that's in every surah except Surah.
Yeah.
Was it Surah Tawbah, right?
Absolutely. Surah At-Tawbah. So in any case, this name calls us to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And that's the take home, that a person worships Allah. It's the greatest act of worship that a person can do, is to declare Allah to be one and to direct their devotion to Him. And the greatest sin that anybody can commit is to direct worship to other than Al-Ilah.
Alright guys. Assalamu alaikum.
Is it time for lunch yet?
Lunch?
12:30, bro.